Go live. Go live. Go live. I started doing this series in other platforms, just talking alone, really, because I don't have followers. As an exercise, and it was designed for 2 years, so it will finish on this year of 2023. Hopefully, I don't have to talk about it anymore. I can move on to explain with graphics how it works. So the word of the week is voice. And utterance is a synonymous. I was having fun with utterly. I joke about something in Twitter, but it's not really where the word comes from. Utterly. Utterance is never been in my brain, as to say it's an utterance. I didn't grow up with English, so it was a class every week. We had 2 times a week English, but it was not part of our form of thinking or listening to that. Till I became 13 years old, and I refused to speak English for I mean, in the school of England, the boarding school in Devon, I never spoke English. I was already 6 months in India, where they all speak English, and a lot of annoyance towards English tone, very Spanish. So I have my friends who were Spanish in India, and we would travel from India, Ibiza, and the boarding school. It was Javi. Another one I don't remember. Iya, Nora, Sagara, my sister, my little sister. She's a little bitch, but like a real bitch, but my little sister. Oh, it's hard to be a big sister. Anyways, so they would call us the Spanish kids. And Javi would skateboard in the airport. We would be here in the airport, Heathrow airport. They would take us all at the same time, and sometimes we would be waiting there for our airplane for 12 hours, because they took us there. So we would be just having fun in the airport. We would wait 6 hours, from 4 hours to 6 hours, because they would take a few kids each day from the school. So you would wait for your flight, because they didn't have enough adults to, and then until they opened the boarding, and then they would be just goofing around. And we feel very privileged, though, to just have fun in the airport. When I see these movies where Tom Hanks is trapped in the airport, I was like, we had that feeling at the same time, being trapped in the airport of Heathrow. So Javi was a genius, and he was the smartest guy in the school, and he's he's still alive, thanks God. But he's drug addict, and he's between the streets and wherever he finds out to be in Ibiza. But he was the smartest kid of all. In everything he did, he was the best. He won for best skateboarding in Spain. My sister taught him as how to skateboard, even though she didn't know how to skateboard, but it's a zigzag because we would be always skating, ro- uh, roll, roll skating. We were very good at roll skating, and we will be always going on a bicycle and roll skating. We were also the first one having the roller blades because we were in Malibu at that time and returning Ibiza with the rollerblades. They look like these astronaut boots. It was so cool. So we were kind of like, I was fine in my with my friends, and they all speak English. We just go play the flute with the cows. I would be many times alone playing flute near the waterfall in India while Osho would be talking. So my voice was very Spanish, as to say, yeah, mother. My mother was not very pushy. She never, I mean, she knew English and could speak as well, but she would say that her ego would not allow her to speak English because she was very good speaking in Spanish, and that she wouldn't lower herself. That she felt stupid speaking in English. But it's also the English attitude of the English people. So these are things of languages, right? I mean, so of course, no. So sometimes you have to think, why did it take so long to learn English? So I was that arrogant. Also, the phonetic is so different. It is. I still kind of get some heights, and the tones of voice are very different in South America. In Argentina, it's Italian accent, for those who don't know. There's a big world out there. I guess sometimes we cannot differentiate the shapes of Asian people, Spanish people, because it's a big continent, and then it's Africa. So I was talking with uh, a guy from Hestia. I think they assist for mental health, uh, something like that, to orientate you. I should start working. I was dreaming that I was going back to work just to get 2 days so I could eat better. I don't know. I have to return the books to the library and pay. I don't even have money for the bus. So I thought to go walking. I should. So I'm ready. Ready to go. It's the 7th of March of the year 2023, 5:44 a.m., 5:55 a.m. in Cricklewoods, where Pinocchio never lived. But some people say that the little voice of consciousness, the crickle, came from here, in Cricklewood. In mythology and in the old times, the woods are related to the god Pan, who is the god of the forest. the god of the wilderness. They use him to be known as the evil. I don't understand much about the evil Satan, which looks like a Capricorn. Yet Capricorn has a fish tail. All right. So okay, he plays the flutes as well, but is the god of wilderness and the god of panic. Panic is the hand that beats you and the hands that plays that flute so soft. Is the gentlest of all kind. Yeah. And he could play all the piano, and you could see the depiction of the forest through all storytellings and all the characters that belong to the forest. You will find the occult is not the civilization, is places of danger, promiscuity, hunting fields, and also a vortex in the mind, which you could see the world shit going on at the same time, right? Something that could seem to be as disorder and random, but it's all nature itself. So the one is home all the time doesn't mean that these places don't exist. I mean, they do exist in their own harmony. That we lost touch with that harmony is kind of like getting to string out these tunes back. Imagine playing the harp, how many strings there are there, and you have to tune the strings every day, because if you play the guitar, you have to. Or the little guitar in Venezuela is called el cuatro, is a national instrument. They play it in the llanos, in the side near Colombia, but it's not in the border of Colombia. Is all flat, very beautiful. There they play the four, which is like what we call that in Hawaii. They also play that mandolin, whatever. So there are just only 4 strings, right? And heavy metal is called the bass. I love the bass as well. So I wanted to play violin or the cello. I wanted to play the cello. And I wanted to play not so many strings. Oh, well. So my mother was very annoyed with my flute already. She would scream to me, so I stopped playing the flute. I would play flute in the bathroom as well. We had a house of 4 floors with swimming pool, and I could feel her pity. Yeah, she was a businesswoman. She paid a lot of money for my education, so you could imagine. Also, the lack of it was not like the other flute which I have here. It was a simple flute, the plastic one or wooden one. The metal one, I have that too. It's not that I'm into that now. It was a lot of fun to listen to the sounds. And breathing feels really nice to breathe while you're playing the flute. Makes you high to breathe and So, well, I was thinking that it's so cool they're opening a Telsa factory in Mexico. And I was thinking, how do you develop, how we do develop, how do you have the model of finance to develop a town, for example, in Venezuela or Africa, but they don't really need cars. They can just ride in bicycles, so they might need to develop trucks to make streets, to make tunnels, to deliver water to their countries, to stop hunger and create jobs that are more related in. Because one of the things that I felt a lot in the 500 acres of land that we had in Venezuela was that we needed uh, to create infrastructure and trucks and tools. Um, I was against cutting trees, and I had created big board to make a sort of like a commune, and how to construct with the there is from construction there that is from the soil there. um, it's not bamboo, but it's very beautiful at the same time. So you see the indigenous people in Australia, how they just build it out of their hands, right? And so my sister-in-law works as a director to protect indigenous to all South America from an organization that is from Denmark, and they have directors for each continent, like Africa, Australia, and to protect their rights. So there is also a cultural respect to protect their culture. So just imagine to tell people, well, you're going to work 6 hours, because some people don't want to work like Chinese people do. But we're going to have to bring managers from around the world, and some countries might want to have managers that are from countries that are republic or communist, or they have the same political affiliations. Like, for example, China would like to have managers from China, so they learn. But then you will need translators as well, right? Nobody speaks English. Of course, there could be a dominator, common denominator, where there are English translators, right? So you will need then two English translators. China has produced a lot of, through this last decade, a lot of Chinese people that speak many languages. So I met a few in Spain already, and they just come to make business. So they just want to open up as well, right? So there are a lot of Chinese people who have a good character for organizing and working, and they could also learn from the Venezuelan mentality, as in Africa as well, to take it easy. Yeah, maybe it's not so industrial and work wise to exploit. You could never expect such performance as the Chinese do. There could be great investment for the future generations on respecting the nature as well. What can you do without having to just take from the earth or leave trash on space? So eventually we'll be able to have so much power that we could pick up there would be so much extra money that you could even pick up all the trash around the earth, orbiting the earth. Now it's not a big deal, but we already have a lot of trash on earth, and only through human interaction we can create the recycling pattern where we can report back. I'm very happy that Elon Musk said about putting some people momentarily who I think is from bullying. I have to research what that means. Well, I don't wanna waste my time talking with all these people that hate members of the royal family, thanks to Kate the Fake and her influence with maybe Camilla. Both are non-blue blood related. They were just there. So, well, good for them. But I don't think they were born and raised with the understanding of what royalty really means. So it's not innate to have that understanding. So it's like they always have to prove they are better because they were not born into the royal family. So then they like to push others, but it's not different. It is not different. How can I put this without having to sound classist? So you do have certain compassion and patience, even though you are looking at the other person as it's not really there. It's not that you are pushing the person down, but the person can understand the distance and how little you are, because you still have to grow. You still have to grow through. So you can be born with that. I wanted to see that. I have seen better people in jail than that. Yeah, much better people than that. My father was in jail for reporting the truth in Venezuela, 2 years and something. For the reporting the truth with evidence. The police help him to get, and the construction companies help him to get the evidence and the receipts of a fake wall that was made by because they use most of the corruption in construction, and they fake the numbers there. Yeah. So this is why the program to put how much it cost in what company, they brought it so anyone can go and detect how much it costs, what is the price normally, how much they used to do that. Anyone can go there and see how much it costs to do that. So the corruption ends. Yeah. People don't have to see in the in the program the the tunnel of energy going from the Ministry of Defense, but at least to see other ministries. Eventually, people will ask to see how much money is going there. And eventually, it should stop to be producing of weapons to kill people and threatening as people get to evolve. And that will be a slow process as everyone is starting to it will take time. It will take time to see their countries are not having wars, but at the same time, countries need to protect themselves, because then you will have these Americans or anyone who has more power taking over as an abuser, as the Chinese taking land and Russians taking land, even if there was their own land or other lands, and the poor people taking our land and our house, the military. Is how can you justify what's right when everything is being taken over by outside entities of any type? How can you defend yourself? So you could say in advance, my family didn't listen to me. I knew they wouldn't listen to me because I had many dreams where they wouldn't listen to me, and I had to get out. So that is a problem. So uh, one has to listen to oneself, one's inner voice, and if possible, to prepare to what is next. So that means a lot when you are standing solid to your own ground. Sometimes this ground is not really material. As to say, I want my life to be in this way, no matter the consequences. There's the new down. Every day is a new down, and every day constantly is happening as the world goes around. I wish to wake up always with a new dawn and be able to work and see that my simple life has come to fruition with my beloveds. So yeah, it was very nice to see some progress, even though I woke up thinking, oh, there's some good news out there for me to read. I thought, no, not like directly, but so it was really cool to see that. Who knows what is gonna happen, but I don't have the energy to be on everyone's stream. I could, but I thought, oh God, it's like how much poetry and gentleness do I have to put in these settings to because I am not living in a royal regal state of mind at all. I feel trashed. Also, I feel like trash, and I'm behaving like trash as well. Talking like trash. I feel frustrated. I feel I belong to the repressed class. Not rapping about it, or having the utterance just to say that whoever's in that state of mind, they can do it, but I'm not really like, okay, just one day is maybe good enough. Maybe another day I could just, but there's so much trash out there thanks to this Middleton white trash who produces a lot. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to pick up anyone's trash, really. Like, this is people have to be responsible for recycling. their emotions and their words. So you learn to do that in role play. People should be sent automatically to virtual reality, and not only to virtual reality, but to a specific verse. I can share about that. I'm joking because people would feel threatened. It should be by joy and play and one's creative initiative. So one does not feel corrupted because one has done something from outer sources. It's because one has generated that transition to create this and be there. Even though in role play many actions happen that are maybe against your will, but it's part of the story and one must follow it. Or there are many natures that happen around certain characters. There always happens the same patterns. All right. So moving forward, I can share this. Just listening to Jordan Peterson talking about the people that are loyal, blah blah blah, and he takes statistics from psychopaths in jail and sociopaths. Well, I can bring other statistics from people who commit genocides and are pervert, but keep their wives there on check to keep their parade. Mm, the best, as if they are the best man in this world. Yeah, and are always shitting on everyone in the name of good. And I can bring also statistics of people who have so many lovers and are genius and have been loyal to for some decades, no matter what. Uh, no matter what circumstances they have around. So I could judge people like that just 'cause you're married with the same person. Like he wants to put out himself because he has this problem in his mind. So he needs to talk about that. He lost all his life just talking. There you go. Well, free will can be a very thwarted punishment of your own demise. You could go asking the same question and make people believe certain statistics. So, well, what can you do? I think Jordan Peterson, even if he role plays, he's going to pick up always the same character, and he's going to be very afraid of what people think of him if they find him role playing certain characters. And I am afraid to believe, and I have the reason to doubt, even though I think to be certain that he's a middle range who will never change. And it might attain to his own will because he has a bloody thirst, revenge underneath him that is castrated, of course. Loves that freedom and all for humanity and that good force, but at the same time, it has a humongous amount of hatred that is beyond his own control. Because he has not surfed in the wilderness of this vast cosmos. Hmm? Just to have an idea. That. Yeah. So tell me. So well, uh, it's going to be very costly to understand what is unconditional love, to understand what is to become selflessness, to have selflessness. Because if you're creating another character that is not you, because some people think, oh, that is you. They're still on the ego. Yeah, like Elon Musk and the people say that he has all these characters. But this is supporting his main character. So he's still stuck on character as well. And characters, but all these characters are creating his main character. So he's still, and it's very smart. It's one of the parts of creating storytelling. You need all these characters to support this group or idea or kingdom or group role players, and all these characters, otherwise you can't, because people don't follow many characters. But I've never done it with me. I have done it with all the groups. So I got mainly with the Kingdom of France, but I've done it with all the groups without letting them know, of course. That was one tendency I created, but it took many years, if not a decade, to break through that, because people will only invest in their own groups for more than a decade. And this is a fantasy world, all right? So a fantasy world where people are not making money, people are doing it for fun, and they still have this ego. Yeah, this old style form of recreating oneself for oneself, and only one self. This is spooky hairs are cool, kind of like. I want to let it grow because it itches sometimes. That's part of a line I wanted to say, like women talk about their hair all the time. Just to look a little more human. So then human like a woman. Yes, I have to bring point of reference towards who I am. So people look at me as if I am that. If I have long hair, it would mean this. If I have short hair, it would mean that. So 7 years ago, I had this. So people thought if I would wear like that with a hat, people would, I don't know, people would think that and they would ask me many times. And it's very hard to be identified because of a haircut. And I'm like, oh God, this is too much hair. I like Storm from the X-Men. I always wished to have the hair of Storm when I was reading comics as a preteen. Teen. And I thought, well, I will have to be very rich, and so nobody would just bother me. But now that I've seen multimedia, I'm really like, oh my God. Because it's not that I would just do it to call for attention, but it's because I simply like it. And I have thought a lot about it. I said, no, but I would need always this like hair, I call this air blowing air. So my hair is kind of like that, right? Because in Storm, Because if you come to reality, it doesn't stand like that. And then it's just like, no, I don't want to walk like that in life. And then all the white color, that was just so cool. I love my mother's white color. Then you have to dive it all the time. So, and this is different. Is a very synthetic chemical to burn the color. So, and I have asked, and I say, well, it's just gonna damage all your hair. It burns it out. It's not good for the earth. Ugh, it's, it's, it's complicated, right? How are you going to voice out your hairstyle? So deal with it. Does this really matter? It's gonna make a better world. Well, yes, I was just thinking how beautiful it would be to create jobs in green energy, like trucks for farming, trucks for uh, creating concrete, trucks for taking the earth to creating roads, all these sorts of trucks that are to create without having to destroy nature. And they are a lot of construction work in Venezuela. They don't study for it, but there is a different type of architecture there, and they have other needs as well. So I don't think right now they will be very open to Americans or Europeans with a colony in countries like Venezuela. They are good people as well. They might need more police reinforcement, and the jails, they need to become universities. I would love to be the patron of jails. Well, just things nobody knows. I mean, I have studied the jail system a lot. I have been in long queues, and I have a lot of stories about it. So it's quite heartwarming. I have seen enlightened people there, been paying for many years, and very beautiful people I have seen. Of course, most of them are demons, little demons. They're cool and share their own language and culture. It's just kind of hard to see that they still think to be innocent because they have their rights, right? They have their own origin of why they do this and their beliefs. That's what you need, your reasons to do such a things. Right? Doesn't mean it's right. It's true. Yes, Kate. So are you gonna, Kate? Kate the fake. So are you gonna go with your fake domain saying that Megan has a fake smile? Now that's all your studies. Because no matter what you do, that's whom you are. Yeah, you have to accept it. No matter if the monkey dresses with silk, it will always be a monkey. No matter how much jewels and crowns you could wear, or Dianas. You could be tall, but doesn't mean you are mature person to sustain that power, because you are a fuck. That's all you are, right? You're not even good to be a nanny. So I mean, a mother. All right? So I'm not going to get into it because you don't care. You're going to continue and continue and continue and continue until someone puts you out or you just fall yourself. Right? Why? It's not about you, honey. Yeah, this is not a competition between the middle classes here who marry two beautiful princes. Prince. Yes, I've saw this when I was a kid. All right? I was a kid. I was a child. I was not a teen. I was a child. I remember very well where I was. I was standing in the second floor. All the kids, like, oh, the Prince of Spain. Yeah, in school. And I was like, yeah, of course he's. But the girls first, of course. I was okay, it's no big deal. And I was just, God, he's so cute. But now because of why the English, I thought they're gonna run the show, these little two ones. And the Prince of Spain was like the little prince from the book of the Little Prince from France. Super cute. Okay, super handsome. And because they were already running the show internationally, right? So because you see how Spanish people are sometimes too slow or conservative, just to say it's a tendency. But you know, they do whatever they want to do. That's why they're kings, and that's how it reigns. No controversy. The only controversy has been corruption with some member of the family, which is not like a big controversy in Spain after the Occupy movement and all the people that has taken out around like from 2 to 3,000 cases in court around space on corruption. People working in government, stealing money from the government that later people have to pay back to you, and the salaries were cut to half so the government can pay back the money that's been stolen and is not making money back to return to the European community because the Spanish people don't know about credit. None the Spanish, Italian, the Greeks, and the French have half because we have another lifestyle. We're not used to think about tomorrow that much. Only if you have awareness, not because of the consequences that you're going to be cut, but there's a strong belief that is the only way to make money, to take from others. Otherwise, you will keep the same. To take from others, you have to cheat. You have to take from others if they can to advance faster. That's a belief. Not only from the poor, the law of the poor, but how are you going to do to fake it, to take more? Is it really needed? So to maintain takes like a lot of just 80% of energy. And I'm not here to teach anyone, but maybe get someone to get me out of here. So I was thinking like it would be nice just to have a walk and see how things work really. I was thinking like, well, if I could study more into certain things, but just to focus on the problem. But I have already worked a lot for certain things, and I am already have a script to follow. It's not only a script given by my father, but mine, I only have a little time to see my children grow, to see my mother's last years, or possibly, possibly, well, decades. My mother, just to see the. 'Cause I have other ideas in store that have to do with creating a new type of organization that fulfills the organization itself. But at the same time, it's illegal because you can only, okay, you can give your money to an organization and it's taken out of your taxes, but at the same time, is in the benefit for the village, let's say. But the village is providing for you as well. So there might be some clauses and reasons because it's an evolving country and you cannot make it a business or social work because it's fulfilling the moneymaker machine. So when it comes to mansions into villages, it's an architecture of letting people just have from like one room and then from there adapt. All right, but if you're only, because of course the person that wants to make money and they're very good with marketing because that's what it sells, they want production, they want to create what's to is going to be sold as fast as possible. But then at the other side, you need beauty. You need beauty and people to think about architecture and safety because they won't tell you if sometimes they have floods in that place. So it is good to talk about the architecture there. So these houses could be made with pillars that are uplifted. You can, some places you cannot make these houses that are made in 8 hours. So you have to know how are you going to do this, not just like, okay, we can do this all systematically around the world and have all these managers around the world and they can pick. Yeah, they can pick because they've never done this before. They don't have the professionals, the best of this world that's professional on that. People need to know they're not going to be killed. So security systems and safeguard is very important. I mean, just to imagine the beauties that this world has. This is a picture from Algeria. Such a beautiful picture, as if you are 2,000 years in the past. So these people that have helped maintain old traditions and tribes. So they have their silence. It is good also to us. To ask them how would they to feel how, as when I would do the blogs for people out of the streets in Victoria, Canada, where they have a lot of meth heads and drug addicts, thanks to the neglect of all these people that think to be perfect and married and have no empathy and could care less when you really come down to terms. They only want public, right, followers, and to sound convincing. But what if you make a little twist and go down and walk your talk? Pick a village, perhaps right there in Canada, where you have all these youth living in the streets. They all come from married families like yours, for example. Do you want me to make it statistics and make it international? White trash creation. I know, because I have talked with each and every one of them, and they don't come from dysfunctional, broken families. In the contrary, they had no other choice to be, because everyone is the same there. There is no other but the same style. There is no counterculture to say, oh, I want to go pop, I want to do this, I want to do that. No, there is just flat and plain and just all the same. So they just go pick that because it's this or that. That's all they have, right? That's all the options. And this happens also in countries like China. You're seeing all these youth wanting to not work. So the youth always needs to create their own tendency for their own generation. It's part of the youth to create their own flag, their own mark through history. So if we get to see what has been the problem, where we missed, where's the missing link, then you make a bridge there, right? Why did I get so many people out of the street? I never told them to get out of the streets, but they had to bring out the ideas. That was thanks to this book that I read from Victor, the psychologist or psychiatrist that was in the Holocaust, and he made notes and hid it in his forgot the name of that little book. I only read the half of the last part because I didn't want to read the first part that was everything about the Holocaust. Later on, I read it when I was mentally prepared. When I was in Canada, which I was going through a personal Holocaust too, because of being married to a Canadian. And trust me, you know what I mean, right? So that came from you. It would have been your idea, not mine. Did I create that scenario for you to say it or think about it? You would say yes or no. That's up to you. Does it work for you? Because I would celebrate them with my white camera and white tripod. I would celebrate them and just ask them what they like to do, and they show me their painting. They talk me about everything they like to do and these, and I would just celebrate them and write notes, and I would make their WordPress. They would get to see, but they were always in the streets. They wouldn't come to my studio, so I would go be in the streets. Rihanna created a movement of going in pairs to take them out of the streets because I say they don't come to the offices of government for help. They have all the help in the world. Canada is one of the best. But then the better they are, they create more of white trash. So they have 4 generations of welfare families because they've been the best for 4 generations, right? Can you imagine? So they learn how to maintain that, but they never become creative or beautiful or worth living because they are like just zombies consuming. Yeah. So I was very grateful to all the help, even though there was pure evil like I've never seen before in my life. Yeah, really. And their nice faces. Yeah, I have seen pure evil. I have seen many families with their children being taken just because, for whatever reason, if they're going through a divorce because of this, that, like the business of taking children is great and nobody cares because everyone is like, just, there are a lot of problems to take care as well. So, but this is nobody talks about these things, right? Why? Because it's not cool. It's not fancy. There are families who have problems, but there are no places to understand that you cannot fulfill everyone sometimes. Yeah, you cannot fulfill the father, you cannot fulfill the social workers, you cannot work like this. Yeah, so you cannot work like this. I had no rights to work. I had no rights to work in Canada. So I have volunteer because I was very grateful at the same time because I was giving free food and free shelter from the goodness, but I would volunteer as to return back from the goodness, but I was aware that they had the right to be in the streets actually. And I always wonder why I couldn't be a drug addict. That was one of my greatest questions. Uh, I wish to be a drug addict, just to surrender and give up from speed. I really wish to. So I was with them all the time. I would be role playing as well, and I would be doing in my studio, just on the computer, mostly role playing in the libraries. So, well, the libraries just and fulfilling my storage with donations, with the dream to take it one day to Venezuela to the beautiful people there, because nobody wanted it. So all these things, they didn't care about things because they're high. So they only care about being high. Everything is to be high and keep the high. So it is. That's a solution I have formed in order to take people out of drug addiction on the streets. You don't need fentanyl or whatever it is to kill them. That is not the answer. Of course, empathy doesn't look cool. It's like, oh, kill them. Just say that it come from websites. The people deliver it from China, and then they come from Mexico. Fentanyl. Oh, God knows. Only God knows the truth. Could be lying. I have been 2 years and a half digging in that, not scratching the surface of a supposed reality that you don't really want to think about, pretty much, and is human. And most of these people are actually the nicest. There was no crime before. Now there is violence. Before there was none. 7, 8 years ago. So it's hard. It's not a big deal to have human connection Of course, there should be a law where you can put them in a spiritual retreat by law for 3 years, and they have to work to earn their food. Maybe work in another country, so they have compassion because they don't care. They absolutely don't care at all. So they are the product of not giving a damn, and they need to celebrate, to have their wilderness. They need to meet this being castrated. It's being too square. Human nature is not square. You can build a house and anything and have mindful of patterns and geometries that could be square or triangular or this. But nature itself is not square. So this is I'm not against square lines and with lines and being straight and all these things. The thing is, it's not because I'm dyslexic, but it really matters for the youth, and I'm worried children are there as well. So I wanted to talk about that, which is creating also mansions into villages. And the thing is, it has to be by law and force, and it's better they are in a jail, can't get out, escape. But they already grew up like 20 years. So you are having an investment of someone who already has that knowledge. You don't have to create a robot or wait for another generation to grow up 20 years. So it's an investment of 3 years. So there are a lot of therapeutic meditations that are to suppress the anger and let it go and get the monkey out when they're getting out of drugs. I mean, the monkey out is how they call it in Spanish, when they're having this attacks of rage because they need the drug, the craving, like they feel they're gonna die. So it's like they're having the monkey. It's called in Spain. If they need to be out and pass through that darkness, and they need to be in a room where everything is cushioned, just to survive that time frame and scenario they have to pass through, because the drug is asking for it, and the drugs has dominated their psychic and how they think. Just imagine you're married to Kate the fake, because you can be the smartest person in this world, born to be king. It doesn't matter who you are. You are with this influence, you're going to be influenced by it, want it or not. I've been influenced also. Anyone in the same room, this is said by, on every day and every year. And even if you don't want to, and you put like, no, this is me and this is you, and I'm going to do, just to keep you there, but then you're putting yourself there and then doing that. So, and making believe and this, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Even if you want to cover it and covet it yourself, you're doing that. it started to be funny. It was your orgasm, sheer orgasm. But they turned into uh, middle class, disgusting, wannabe little bitch show that has nothing to do with bringing this world together. If someone was born for that, of course. To have a little level of compassion and understanding towards everyone. Yeah, we all need our pace, time to compose. So, welcome. Welcome to the underworld. I would love to meet you there personally. So, yes, that's what I meant, right? Some people have a lot of compassion because they had a lot of love. They have hugged so many people and connected with so many people that they can feel humanity in their skin. They have been with so many types. They might have more love than you ever imagine for others. But it's been twisted by all this. Yeah. Because even in the Bible, they had right in the sexual relations of Jesus, the apostles, what they did and that, or even Abraham. I mean, it's like, oh no, no, come on, bring it up, bring it up. Yeah, no, they were all born from Holy Mary. Look, I'm a very good storyteller. I would have told that story for sure. And I gave birth to Jesus, and I'm a virgin. Because, maybe you were running away from an emperor that raped you and you were a virgin, right? So you were raped by this emperor, and now he wants to kill you because your son can take over him because there was a prediction. Yeah? So bring it on. In your mind, you're still a virgin, right? You were raped. So did somebody write that? Did I read that? Did I Google that? Did I read that on a YouTube? No, I made that story up, right? Because it makes sense. It makes sense. Just look at the whole picture. Did I talk with the Oracle of Delphi? Was I there in a past life? No, you have to be a good storyteller to make it believable, right? Or wonder, like, go to the other side, and then we're running on a donkey, and Joseph. So she was a virgin, yeah. She was, all right. But if you have to bring all these scenario stories and that, just leave it like that, right? Just bring the Holy Spirit here and let's leave everything clean. My son is not a buster, okay? Maybe I gave birth next to farm animals. Things like that. So think about it. Good storytelling, man. Think about it. Anyway, people gathered there, right? There was nothing else to do. People talk about things in the way, it's full of stars, things like that. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do back then? Things like that, and then suddenly, for whatever reason, you put all these elements together, and there you have it. The Messias, we all ended up many times. There's many times that people end up in a party, right? Why do you end up all in a party? People don't know what's that anymore. That more that in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. No, for whatever reason, everybody ended up. Even in the desert, people would meet up in the deserts. Not really in an address; they would just meet up, right? And no matter how long it would take, the Sufis, they would meet up in a few weeks or months. They would know by intuition what it is, just get lost spiritually. So there you have it, yeah, and it all makes reason. All makes reason. Then what other reason you have to do is, yeah, follow the line, follow the story. Yeah, somebody said this, oh, then it is this. There you go. I don't think Jesus knew he was gonna be so famous. Really, on those times, the greatest desire was to be that your stories would be told after your death, so you would become immortal. There were a few ways. One of them was sacrificing yourself. And from a good man, he became a big fuck you to the empire and said, yeah, you want to get me? Now get me. Because now all the people want to suffer to fuck you up. So that was the big fuck you. Well, fuck you too. Go, Lucas. Go, Lucas, tell them where I am. He was his best apostle, right? You want me to talk about the Bible? I'm going to tell you about the dark side of the Bible. Lucas was his best apostle. You have to be the best man to do something that is against your will. He wouldn't want to give Jesus away. No, he was not a betrayer. In the contrary, he loved him so much, he would do something against his will. Go, Lucas, tell them where I am. And Maria Magdalene there. No, I gave you so much love. And to all your disciples, I host them. We were living our paradise. Fish and wine and bread, this was the life, this was the meaning. And then Jesus saying, no, and maybe they had a fight like even physical fight. Yeah, why not? He just threw her to the floor, whatever. She's on the floor, like, ah! Or what else? And Jesus just whatever. Just imagine the human side to the backstory, but you would just write the good things, right? Just to remember. It's just, the rest is redundant. So, and he was ready to be crucified, and that's it. I'm having it because there's no other way out. People are going to revolutionize. So, just give the other chick. I'm gonna give my chick, not only my chick. Yeah, he went all hardcore with it. Yeah, many characters did that. No matter if they get killed, they will follow their voice, their heart. Whatever all this I said is true or not, because I just made it up and I have these ideas as a storyteller, and everyone has thought about Jesus, talk about him, or he's known, and it's time to make also other characters up, right, for the next 3,000 years, because let's just imagine, what it takes. We don't need to sacrifice ourselves. We need to stop schizophrenic thinking and get together to do what matters, because there's right now with multimedia too much chaos. And I am not really like professional to think about industry and finance. I want my work to start so I can give it. This is just a new day and a new down. So it is so nice to see my children and have what is my copyright and patent, and start to just give this work away. Yes, cut the bullshit and the gossip and have a nice celebration for the coronation of the king. Hopefully, we can all do that. I don't expect Kate the fake to walk through the purgatory and accept her sins. As a little bitch she is. Middle class ranger, only good for pictures and prostituting herself and damaging her children to not love her own family. That has to end, so that has to end. The people are gonna praise her in the future, like if she is a queen, that's another story. Maybe somewhere else, maybe in ultra space or internet or just whatever. Who cares, really? But think about it. Yes? Think about it. Think about it. It's not about you. It never was about you. It is about something that is greater than you. So when you have that in your heart, then you don't need to carry a crown because you have the crown in your heart, and you cannot represent yourself or the people that reflect with you, because that behavior has to end. Unfortunately, there is no compassion there. There is royal. Well, everything that is royal is royal. This is why some kings had their heads chopped, and there have been many people always trying to get the throne or push those who are meant to rule, thinking they are superior. It's been all the way through so many generations. Doesn't mean that who got there to rule later is better. Because shit happens. We still live in this human world. So, to a certain degree, we'll have to see another race that's coming up that is not human, because just now you have all this mix going on. You don't know what is royal, what is middle class. They're all mixing. People are mixing, people are learning. So, what's going on here? So, you call it a universal. And I wanted to say too. So, we're going to put the crimes of Putin on an international court. So, Putin can appeal and bring it to a universal court. Yes, and I will be there. Yeah. Say, okay, in the Universal Supreme Court, I will be there saying, well, bring me everything that the Americans have done in my table. In the eyes of the public domain, right? Because I need some universal standards here. Is your international, because it's what international? It's in your own nation where it's internal for you, mingling with people's affairs there. They have nothing to do with your nation. That's what I think international is. So if you need, oh, you want, how you call that? It's forgot. I don't see it. It's not in my brain or my system because I cannot even believe it does exist. It's there. It's there. It was there. It passed by. Oh, democracy. Gotcha. Democracy. Yes, democracy. Yes, democracy. So let's make two parties. Yeah, make two parties. One international and the other universal. Because I don't want to call it republic or communist. You say this, we say that. You're not universal. You're into your international friends bullying. Just to say that if you continue in this road, it could split. There you go. So you need more work to prove that. Yes, more work. It needs for the people to be proven that a war is a war. There are no laws in war. There are no laws in war, there are no laws in love. So yeah, you can make all these laws and compositions of how it works and this and that, and that's how it's going to break, and this is how it's going to fall, and this is how it's going to destroy, and this is how we're going to conquer. And we can talk also. Yes. Maybe through the arts. Just to get a general picture of what this is for everyone. In this planet, it's not even a universe. This planet is in a galaxy. It's just this planet. So maybe another name for the Supreme Court of planet Earth. It's a little more pragmatic and realistic. An appeal to the Supreme Court of planet Earth. And we'll see there are the Chinese, the Russians, the friends of the Venezuelans, and of the Americans and Africans. And we might be able to do a little bit of healing. Yeah. I'm going to put some Vaseline there for you. You know, you want to evolve together or not? Because you want to conquer the world, don't you? I have conquered and been conquered and play to be discovered and all sorts of things. So let's bring it on. Yes, if you want to deal with it, try to bring a good story for it so we don't have to work so much in bringing a Supreme Court of the planet Earth. So your appeals are being taken care of because this is not about your friends. No, no. You know, maybe I am a spy. I am working for the world order. So you got it straight on, right? The white world versus the world. South of Europe, and the mother of civilization in Europe was a mixture of races from the Mediterranean. So the Chinese had their own civilization and other civilizations around the world as well. So we want to study history and blah 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 blah. My other course because more problems. Getting the story straight. So many interlinks. So much going on, isn't it? Yes. Now, what do you want to do? So it's clear for everyone to stop all these wars and weapons. It's going to take decades or centuries. But at least the mediation is going to start. Because you have to understand that people have to evolve to that degree where they're not killing each other. Yeah? Let's put when humans were what? Not white trash, but just like coming out of the cave, right? So let's say just think about I look at you like you're coming out of the cave, right? So just look in the future, not too far. Yes, we're not that stupid as to say, well, I had lived in a cave in this lifetime of mine, right next to the beach. Really nice. Just come out and jump in the water with my beautiful husband. I mean, he has qualities. And think about it. Think about it, you know? Just think about it. We have a better story than mine? Probably. Probably, yes. Do you need to become a prime minister to do this? Do you need to? You will do it just so you're president again? You will do it because you're being told to? No, you will do it because you want to prove that you're better. You can do better. Oh, it's a good idea. I will do it because I will have more votes. I will do more sales marketing. I will sell more. Maybe I'll have more of whatever more. Just have a little bit of compassion and sympathy and see all the people that are waiting there to have food, to learn how to have sex without having so much children so they can give them better attention, not work so much, and try to create a life where we don't have to be online all the time, but we can also show what we're doing and celebrate. I have my own needs. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about my private needs, but I have paranoia when I go to the restroom. I have too much uh, going on. Too much. It's like paranoia. Maybe it's real. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. I can just wait to have my own private life and not have these paranoias where I don't want to share so much. It's like, okay, just think that everyone is being observed and it's part, you have to deal with it. Just deal with it. You know, everyone does what you do. Just deal with it. Let go. So, can wait to see people speaking and getting to push. It would be nicer to say that we have come to a good conversation and we didn't have to delete or block someone. Some people will never change because they've been given a power they don't deserve at all. And they won't let go of that power. They will continue until they're killed, taking off. They will continue. That's what sickness do. Unless you work with healing and are ready to face the darkness that truly is, and face it within you as well, because that's why you relate with that, because you also have that. Why? You have that because you need it? For what? That no one will know it is? That no one will know? You know why? Because we need things to work. We need things to work. So just imagine how good it could work if you take these problems away. Yes? Just imagine how beautiful this world could be without having to read so much trash. All right? Because the great disconnect is coming. So continue with your gaslight trashing phenomena. Use all the power in the world to do that with the finest words and acts and do with that white trust style. Lower yourself and the rest of the world if needed, including your family and everything your ancestors did and warriors, and instead of just bringing beauty and magic and condescendence, but condescendence in the sense, I don't know why in Spanish it has another meaning. Depends how you use it in the sentence, but that is rivering down the hill. It's cascading. The blessings are cascading down. It's nature every day. So just can't wait to be with nature and disconnect from all this. So I will hope this is I Something told me to stop doing these videos, and I wish I stopped for 2 weeks and said, "Let's just do it," because I need to do the word of the week. Did it the last day. It was on a after 4 weeks where you have extra day between months. Just keep it on, right? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Hold on to it, right? But I don't want to be part of any form of promoting bullshit. I've never grown up reading this ever. Not even in the fights of jail. In the lowest class, I have seen this behavior. They fight for other things, that might be more reasonable. But right in your face, right in your face. I find that much more honorable. Yeah. So, with a little more of class, we go to the private and talk about it. But give them the power, and they will abuse. Right? We have to learn how to decode this, create these conversations, and these people are never going to learn. I wish there's harmony in this world, but there is this very strong, solid thing in this trait. Don't know where it comes, the whole of I here, if it was copied from Greek mythology, from the Muses and his daughters. With the Muses are daughters of the river of memory, which is more of a marshal, and she's a nymph of water. With Zeus. So memory and information are represented through all her daughters that form the arts, all the sorts of information that are valuable to share through. That's not just coding or words like it. So if people want to share that in their own little kingdom, then great. Yeah. But if it has the spiritual belief, and we all still have mistakes, I'm not here to defend anyone. So what is a family? Yeah. That's what family is about. White people, if you compare them to races, they will kick people of their family out into the streets. It's very common. That's why there are so much mental illness. Compare to the passionate crimes of other cultures. Not all of them, some. They do it because they are sexually obsessed or jealous. They need to steal and kill. So they don't exclude members of the family because they have a moment in life or they bring someone that is so different. The family. That's called sympathy and family unity because it's part of the family. And I don't. I'm not saying that other members of the family are weak or are sick or have some illness or have criminal problems. No, maybe they do. Maybe they. Everyone's family has this constellation, and you will go and make your own as well. What we need to learn is about authority and hierarchy, which exists. That's all. And celebrate it. One another as a whole. So it's 2 months to go. Uh, you have other choices. Of course, I will be doing that right now. But I don't have that much of an authority, I guess, to do so. So enjoy what you can. Bye. Thanks God, my family is alive. Um, there is always another way to love. Bye.